Now we're going to work to build a submittable input, which is a little bit more interesting. So again, for now this is just visual, so we're going to work on creating its functionality using code and Pagedraw. First step here is that this text block was actually imported as regular text from Sketch. So let's change that to be a text input type. And let's remove its border and make its background visible. Also, in Sketch, I believe the size was a bit bigger. Yeah, it was 18, the font size. So let's do that. And the placeholder can be something like your comment here, or whatever. This can also be dynamic if you want. So now we can go to a React app and see that I can actually type here, but the text is all dark and there's this focus ring that I don't like. So I want to remove the focus ring, hide focus ring, and I want to have the text font color be lighter. Okay. Cool. More focus ring. Great. Now, what we need to do here is this component is going to be a stateful component, unlike the rating one, where the state would live all outside. In this case, we want the value of this text that's being typed in to be stored by the component, and we want to expose to the outside world only an onSubmit function. That onSubmit means whenever the user clicks here or hits enter, they get a value and that's all. But whoever is using submittable input doesn't have to care about keeping track of this state. So the way that we're going to do this is I will, of course, make the value here dynamic. And I'll say that this comes from not this .props.text, but this .props.value. But I also have to make sure you can change this. This is standard React. You just go and add an event handler of type onChange, this .props.onChange. Cool. So now what we need to do is in our code base, we need to create a submittable input wrapper.js. And let me copy this stuff from here. And it imports the Pagedraw, or let's just call this Pagedraw submittable input from Pagedraw submittable input. And then this is the app. And I'm going to have some state. The state's going to be just called value. Start to say hello. And we just, in the render function, return Pagedraw submittable input. Value equals this state.value. There we go. Cool. So now we shouldn't see that yet in the app, because remember, the app is actually using this component, which is only visual. So what we can actually do here is do a trick that we call Helson's override, thanks to our friend Helson who first did this, where you say override code in the instance, and you say, actually, instead of putting the Pagedraw component there, put the outside component that calls the Pagedraw component. So I'm going to do here submittable input wrapper. And I'll import submittable input wrapper from. So this is from Pagedraw source, so / submittable input wrapper. There you go. And now I believe I forgot an export statement, which I can do export default here. Cool. So now this component is actually this one, which happens to call the Pagedraw component. So now, can I type here? No, I can't. It just says hello all the time. So let me make it that I can actually type in there by going into submittable input and doing an onChange event. It was already there. Let me re-add it just so you see. So adding onClick, no, onChange, this .props.onChange. Great. And now I just need to pass down onChange equals an event. This dot set state value becomes e.target.value. This is pretty straightforward React stuff. So now we should have a text input that is editable, but now we have our state living outside of it. Cool. Let's make the starting value be nothing. That's more standard. And here you can have like the full value being passed down, whatever you want, right? Cool. Now the next step is to be able to click here and trigger on submit. So remember, what I want is that this component, let's call this submittable input. It exposes an onSubmit handler that's passed down via props, and basically the caller doesn't care about the state, it just wants to know when the text was submitted. So in Pagedraw, let me actually first center this, there you go. In Pagedraw, we can add an onClick handler to this. There's our props.handleClick. And let's make sure the cursor is set to pointer so that you actually get a nice visualization that you can click on it by hovering. Cool. And now I just need to pass a handle click to this. And I'm going to do this dot handle submit as a function. I already wrote this function here outside, so just copy paste it in. Handle submit is just going to call this prop.onSubmit, passing in the state's value. And it's going to reset the state so the value goes back to 0. Cool, so let's see if that worked. In the React app, I can type hello world, click here, and nothing happened because no one passed down an onSubmit function to us. Great, that's it. Exactly what we wanted. We can now do something like who's the Pagedraw element that's calling the submittable input wrapper can pass down onSubmit equals window.alert watch. There you go. So now we can actually alert. Ooh, nice. And then the commit is reset to 0. Perfect. Cool. So now we might also want to, for example, on enter, make the submit happen. So I can do a handle key down as well, where if the key is enter, I just call handle submit. And I need to pass down on key down. And again, I need to define in Pagedraw that we're expecting for this text field a key down event. Key down. I believe I called it on key down. Nice. So now in our React app, if I say hey world and hit enter, we get our event happening. Awesome.